Fourth and final race of the second round of the BNL karting series about to get underway. Track is primed and dry with slicks adorned on all karts heading onto the circuit. Let's have a look at the grid for the final time of asking here at Mariembourg at Karting d'Espagne. Following on for what was a bumper-filled, and I mean that literally and figuratively, 14 front-fairing penalties post-race in the senior road tax pre-final. Dylan LaHaye took the victory. Sean Butcher in second. They are on the front row. Lachlan Robinson, a great work from the Dubai driver from all the way through this weekend. First time he's ever visited the circuit, and he's had to deal with it in adverse weather conditions. He's got Luca Leistra alongside. Milan Coppens was third on the road, drops to fifth. He starts alongside Max Stemmerdink on row 3. Flint Schuring and Paul Fokema, row 4. Sem Van Thiel and Arthur Hosch round out the top 10. Danny Prins, Beer Dorrestein, row 6. Row 7, Buzz Janssen, Nick Coppens. Row 8, Kevin Kramers and Lars Zanen. Row 9, Christian de Klein and Ehad Turker. Completing the top 20 is Jordi van der Eyck and Hugo Arendi from Estonia. Running out the 36 strong is Victor Plateau, Sam Bergstein, Justin Paulman, Kobe de Broeke, Mario Sidler, Scott Westhovens, Gilles Clouet, Devin Segardi, Remco Baan, Colin van Lammeren, Adrien Labuda, Bart de Wit, Johi Schoens, Yashdam Jankan, Alexander Vermeulen and Clementine Benoit. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it, before we get going? However, track temperatures are good. There is a distinct dry line, and the 36 drivers now getting themselves into the zone, getting themselves ready to go racing one final time. So effectively now it is down to what happens next. Who will lead the championship standings? Because obviously with no Mark Kimber, no Callum Bradshaw here this weekend, who knows? And it's our guess to find out as this final chapter for the second round of the season is about to get going. The amount of talent in this field is ridiculous. The amount of action we're going to see. You thought there was plenty in the pre-final. Well, as I always like to say, ladies and gentlemen, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because now, this is where our crescendo takes place. This is where it all comes to that fulcrum, that mushroom cloud, so to speak. Because now we're getting ready. LaHaye, Butcher, Robinson, Leistra, Coppens, Stemmerdink, Schuring, Fokema, Van Thiel and Hosch. That is your top 10 as they are about to go through into the tramlines for the final time of asking. Let's get ready to rock and roll here in Belgium as we go into the tramlines. Is it a good start? They have been released. We are underway. And Leistra trying to go around the outside of Lachlan Robinson to get P3 before turn 2. He just about makes it through, does the young Belgian in the 306. As it's all for themselves. Going through into turn 3. We've already had someone go off the track. That looks to be Christian de Klein, if I'm very much mistaken. They're nearly 2 abreast going into turn 4. That's not where you want to do that. We saw that in one of the heats the other day. So effectively, these drivers are pushing like crazy. You can see that everyone is trying to make it through. Dylan LaHaye is being challenged by Sean Butcher. And here comes Luca Leistra and Lachlan Robinson. Leistra and Robinson both get past Butcher through into the final double right-hander on Butcher. And now Butcher's got a fight with Milan Coppens. Max Stemmerdink rounds out the top 6. Across the line they go. LaHaye is starting to push. But now it's going to be a case that Robinson may have to work with Leistra to try and push forward. Coppens is being challenged by Stemmerdink, but then Arthur Hosch is factoring in. The Frenchman in the 356, Paul Fokema, has dropped towards the bottom part of the top 10. A little bit of standing water on those curbs coming out of turn 3, so that will splash up. That won't be too much of an issue. Oh, bit of a puddle there, hit by Lachlan Robinson on the right rear. That nearly unsettled the Dubai-based driver. However, he's kept in proximity to Leistra, who has closed in. LaHaye has now got to fight. He might have gotten that victory in the pre-final, But rest assured, keep your eyes on third and fourth position. Robinson and Butcher, they've got a real good chance. And this is Robinson's first time at this circuit. He's been able to extract some great knowledge from some of the drivers, including his teammate behind him, who's raced him multiple times. And here goes Lystra for the lead and gets it done on lap number 3. He was within 1/10 of a second of LaHaye, and now just keep your eyes on Robinson and Butcher. They are now waiting for their chances. Someone's gone very wide coming out of turn 3. So went off onto the grass big time, and I've got a feeling that might have been Milan Coppens. So Coppens might be out of proceedings, or has dropped down the order. That looks to be the case. That was Milan Coppens. A real shame. Didn't really catch the back end of what happened there. However, this now means that it is open season. Hunting season is open. And they do say that it is one thing to chase drivers down. It's another thing to completely get past them. So you're going to see a lot of drivers pushing like crazy and drivers working together. In senior Rotax, one thing is rest assured: when the fireworks start exploding, you know that something biblical is about to happen, and we could have that here, because now effectively Lystra is starting to pull away ever so slightly. Jordi van der Eyck down in what is 17th position has just posted the fastest lap of the race, and out of the quartet at the front of the field, we'll make that a quintet when you add Max Stemmerdink into that mix. Max Stemmerdink is fastest, but by only like literally 3/1000ths of a second, if that. So that's not much, but that can be the difference between making up those additional gains over the course of the race. Milan Coppens that was him. I thought that might have been the case. The timing has confirmed my suspicion, unfortunately, for Milan Coppens, and I'm not too sure if he's actually taking any further part in this race, because that might have been that he could have had a massive off. He might have decided to call that a day. Cart's been parked, I'm afraid. Milan Coppens' weekend has been abruptly ended. But now you can see the fact that Luca Lystra is not getting away from the 3 behind. Top 4 covered by 0.55 of a second. So it is game on between Lystra, LaHaye, Robinson and Butcher. And Stemmerdink is running in the 56.2s. Nick Coppens down in 11th position ahead of Lara Zanen, who's made his way up into the P12. Lara Zanen doing multiple campaigns this year, but also running in the German Electric Kart Championship, which has its second round at Mulsen this coming weekend. And he'll be one of 14 or so drivers, quite a few that have actually raced in this championship, including young Luxembourger Maxime Forhan-Castellat, who's been running in OKJ as of recently, running in OK class as a junior. And Robinson has now ended up behind Butcher, so Butcher has now taken point guard, as they would say in basketball. And here comes Lars Zanen trying to get up the inside of Nick Coppens, going into the 90 left at turn 4. But Coppens was not letting him get through. And now Max Stemmerdink has joined what was a 4-way scrap for the lead and the victory. It is now effectively a 5-way scrap at the front of the field. And they've got to just keep on they've just got to keep their wits about them, because you've got to look for who's behind. Arthur Horsch, Beard Dorrestein, Paul Fokema, Senfantil looking pretty racy in 9th place. 10th position, Danny Prins. Milan Coppens has unfortunately retired from the race, as will do very shortly. Looks like Gilles Clouet and Remco Bahn have also decided that it's just a case of getting an early shower, rest up, come back another day and start fighting once again. Christian de Klein in the meantime has dropped down, way down the order. Could he be the next casualty on this list? Well, we've got just over 7 minutes, well, just under 7 minutes of this race still to go. Robinson has just set a personal best. Lystra's the fastest one out there after lap 5. He set a 56.155, but Dylan LaHaye is just waiting, biding his time. He's not a 2019 champion of this series for nothing. But you've got the likes of Sean Butcher, who replaced him as champion when LaHaye was out for 2020 with a an injury to his back. But Lahey has come back firing on all cylinders. And that is Ehad Turker, I'm afraid. The 308 from Bouvin Power retires on the circuit. Gilles Clouet has retired. Remco Bahn now also retired. And that, to me, says, unfortunately, Ehad Turker is going to be watching from the sidelines for about the next 7 minutes of this race. Now, it is always down to those that are pushing like crazy. One that is pushing like crazy and is down in 21st position. Colin van Lammeren has just put in a 56.080 second lap time. And at the moment, out of the top 5 drivers, Butcher is quickest, and he's just put in the fastest lap. Robinson's just gone personal best. It's just gone. This now says to me that for the next 5 minutes or so, plus an additional lap, we have got a grandstand finale coming our way, and it could be a clincher. Because look at it from this perspective. Butcher took 20 points in the previous race. Lystra, the thing is that Butcher was on, Butcher was there or thereabouts. Robinson's got some solid points from this weekend as well. And you can just see here that it is now. Butcher has started pulling away. Robinson, I think, is going to try and stay secure in 4th. He's done a very good job this weekend, has the youngster, in the 3:16 entry. But the battle now really focuses in on Lystra, Lahey and Butcher. Now, Butcher is the defending champion. He wants to come out of this weekend ahead of Luca Lystra, and he is going to do his absolute level best. Robinson will start pushing once again. Robinson's in the high 55.9s. Stemerdink has just managed to get into the 56 zeros and is being dropped ever so slightly by Robinson. So Robinson's now closing in. It looks like the Dubai-based driver has got his second win back, but it just depends on how quickly he closes. Very friendly, very good friends off of the track. Both proudly run with the Australian flags on their side pods, even though they run on British and UAE licenses respectively. They have a lot of respect for each other as friends and also as teammates. But Lystra is staying ahead for this juncture. So Lahey in second. Now this could secure Lahey the weekend victory here today. It's all dependent on what happens with those behind. Will Butcher look to possibly get past? But that will not be enough. Oh, now there's been a drama. That is the 3:56 Artur Hosch that has gone off just off of turn number 4, and there was somebody else. I think that might have been, more than likely, Beer Dorrestein. So Paul Forquemin will end up now taking what is 6th position, as I'm waiting to see the safety car. I've just seen it. So the 312 now up into 6th position. There is Forquemin. Sunshine bathes the circuit well and truly to see out the weekend in the right way possible. Isn't that a bit of a godsend? I think a few drivers might be thinking, well, hang on a second, where was this sunshine earlier when we felt like effectively sodden cats when we were racing a bit earlier on today? Well, the thing is, you can't always get what you wish for. You have to take the punches as you go along. But here, Luca Lystra has commanded proceedings in this race. Dylan Lahey will be solid and secure in the fact that knowing where he finishes now will be enough to take him to the winner's step on the rostrum a little bit later on. The podiums will take place at 4:15 this afternoon. So the top 5 in Micro and Minimax, the top 3 in all other classes will need to be there for 4:15 kickoff time, with all drivers in race suits with their race helmets and their mandatorily required face masks. So into the last minute and 20 plus an additional lap we go. And Robinson has decided, you know what, I'm just going to hang 10, stay at the back here. He's going to be happy with the 4th place finish. That'll give him 29 points at the end of this race weekend. But Luca Lystra looking to do his level best to keep ahead of Dylan LaHaye. We head into the last 60 seconds, plus an additional lap of the race weekend. And this means that Lystra will, more than likely, I would imagine, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Lystra started 4th, so a victory would put him on the rostrum. Hoban lap 4, Milan Koppens lap 2. As now Butcher senses that LaHaye is not keeping pace. Look, LaHaye is starting to drop away a little bit slightly. This could open the floodgates for Sean Butcher, because now the timer strikes 0. That is it. The race weekend is in the books, bar 1 lap still to go here at Karting d'Espagne under the Sunday afternoon sunshine, because the final lap board is out. Butcher has got the move done on LaHaye. Now that is exactly what he needed, but look at how close Lachlan Robinson is. Now Dylan LaHaye had an absolute howler of a previous lap, 56.241. I think that Robinson could go for 3rd, but he needs to be a bit more closer than that. We're on the final lap of the race, but never say never, ladies and gentlemen, because Luca Lystra will look to secure a well-deserved victory on the final race of the weekend here at Karting d'Espagne International Raceway in Mariembourg in the Covan region of Belgium, just 100 or so kilometres south of Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardennes forests. But out of the final few corners, Lystra streaks away and he takes the victory. Sean Butcher finishes in 2nd. LaHaye started on pole, finishes 3rd. Solid result this weekend for Lachlan Robinson for the United Arab Emirates, taking P4 at the flag provisionally. Paul Fokema takes 6th. Kevin Kramer's 7th. Nick Coppens in 8th ahead of Sam Van Til, Bas Janssen, Jordi van der Eyck, Hugo Arendi, Lars Zanen, Sam Bergstein, Arthur Hosch, Colin van Lammeren, Mario Sidler, Alexander Vermeulen in 18th, with Scott Westovens and Jori Schoens running out the top 20. Yashram Jankan, Devin Sagadi, Clementine Benoit, Kobe de Bruyker, Beer Dorrestein, Danny Prinz, Bart de Wit, Victor Plateau, Flint Schuring, Adrien Labuda, Justin Paulman and Christian Decline running at the 32 that finished. Ehad Turka, unfortunately, would retire on lap 6. Lap 4, Gilles Clouet, Remco Bahn on lap 4 as well, with Milan Koppens in 36th. And unfortunately, he would be the first retirement. But Luca Lystra closes out the show here at Karting d'Espagne with a victory here in the Senior Rotax Final.